Thank you for listening to Episode 2 of No Holmes Barred. This is an independent passion project, so please, remember to subscribe and leave us a positive review if you're so inclined. For bonus content and information on No Holmes Barred events, please visit noholmesbarred.com.
Antecedently on No Holmes Barred.
All right, know what? I'll just say it. Where'd you get the dead baby?
I beg your pardon.
No, I mean there can't possibly be 31 days in October.
Simply inject plumes of tobacco smoke into the anus by way of a pipe stem.
And now for our featured presentation.
Come with me, if you will. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer, no more than the poet can help the inspiration to song, nor the ambition of an intellectual man to be great. I was born with the evil one standing as my sponsor beside the bed where I was ushered into the world, and he has been with me ever since. No Holmes Barred. All right, gentlemen. Lest we forget our most urgent item, today we must determine a worthy centerpiece for our fair. One capable of putting Paris's Eiffel Tower at the last World Fair to shame.
Yay! Eiffel! Out! Eiffel! Eiffel!
I would open the floor to suggestions. But as it stands, we can't even agree on the amount of days in a given month. Luckily, I've anticipated this exact outcome and have considered other options in advance.
Is that so, Root? That is wonderful news.
He really prepared us for not knowing how many days there are in October.
If you'd met anyone in this room prior to our first meeting, you'd do the same.
This is the forward thinking our board is to have if we are to meet our deadline.
A date which we do not know.
I've taken a shine to your partnership over the years, Root. Seeing as you've always been the artistic one of our operation, I presume you've already drafted an array of concepts?
Oh, heavens no. I'm much too busy. Also, I don't want to. But I have opened the floor for submissions from the general population.
Commoners? Why? Are the greatest architects ever assembled in one room not to be trusted? Dirtboy, you will get speaking privileges when modern labor laws reflect that you've earned such a right. Besides, your ball gag is really in there, and I just washed my hands.
I remind you, Sullivan, that Root has promised nothing to no one. In the name of the exposition, we must explore every avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Burnham. It just so happens we have an applicant waiting outside. Would someone fetch him, please?
Dirtboy, you know what to do.
Let it be known, in this opportune moment to speak, derived from the amount of time it takes for Sullivan's Dirtboy to crawl to the door, that I heartily object to any nautical structure incongruent to the natural setting that houses it.
Duly noted, Olmsted.
That means, if I see but one steamboat on my lagoons, your children's grandchildren will know my wrath if I have to hoist my rotting soul from the depths of Hades to inflict it upon them.
Permit me to beg your pardon?
Oh, I do believe our applicant is here.
Your name,
What the hell,
sir?
Olmsted?
Thank you, sirs, and good afternoon. My name is Cigaretti Barnum, and I have an idea for your fair centerpiece.
Very well, continue.
Imagine you're walking down the streets of Paris, only it's not Paris, it's Chicago.
That sounds great. But let's get to brass tacks. We've recently determined that our time is quite valuable.
Well, rest assured there will be no brass in this building, sir, and only some tacks, for load-bearing, of course.
What Mr. Sullivan intends to say is, out with your idea, Cigaretti!
The idea is... logs.
Logs.
Logs. Stacks of them, 500 feet tall. And on top of that tower of logs, more logs. This time we stack those logs into a little house for refreshments and the sort. Logs on logs!
Fascinating. Would the stenographer please log these logs on logs in the log?
How exactly do you intend to acquire such quantities of material for this construction? Keep in mind that there is the matter of transporting the material once gathered.
Well...
And should any of the material be shipped here by steamboat, then by my family's name I will capsize every last one. I'll then see to it personally that their decrepit souls contaminate the river Styx.
We would not need to use steamboats, sir. I just thought it would be nice to build a log cabin.
Oh, well, in that case, great. I love it. I really do.
May I remind you that Paris's asshole tower is over 1,000 feet in height. That is more than double the height you proposed.
I concur with Mr. Sullivan.
It's just logs. I think we could still have enough. But to reach that height, we may need to import timber. I understand there must be a tight deadline, so I'd suggest that maybe we would need available material from other places to be shipped or brought to us.
My word, Olmsted.
What? I just fired a warning shot in the air, and it was Sullivan's gun.
What? Damn, did I leave it on the horse divorce plate again?
I will take my leave now, thank you.
If they just shucked all the raw oysters and put them in a trough like I asked, then I wouldn't need 2 hands. Or a gun.
Finders keepers, Sully, you douche. Next, applicant.
2 gunshots? Why, that's my cue. Pleased to meet you and less than to eat you. J.D. McComber is the name, and I've been in this room the whole time. How, you ask? I deem the matter extraneous. I represent the Chicago Tower Spiral Swing Ascension and Toboggan Transportation Company. We cover all your transport needs, provided your route is covered in snow, and provided the government upholds our great laws that permit cruelty to dogs, sled cows, workers, sled cicadas, women, and non-whites. I, for one, am inspired by your proclivity of parlaying pressure into a passion of pulchritudinously pummeling putrid Parisian pinnacles and pronouns of the past. But presently, the pronoun is possessive, the adjective is proud, the adverb is proficiently, and the question is none. That this will be America's shining moment. My good fellows, you may not yet know it, but you must yet know this. Today, you are the envy of the free world. You're about to witness the only monument deemed capable of our mantra. Out Eiffel, Eiffel begins with this. Presenting the free world's tallest tower. No longer will that distinction be awarded to the Eiffel Tower's flim-flam measurement of 1,000 feet. Mine measures 9,000 feet from ground to sky, and another 2,000 feet from the ground to whatever lies at the center of the earth. My suspicion would be the lost civilization of kitten people.
Indeed. Kittens. Yes.
But I digress. Protruding from the peak of the tower will be elevated railways by the dozen. To give fairgoers a ride home they'll never forget. I say home, mind you, because I'm not referring to their local hotels. I'm referring to their hometowns. These railways will lead each family back to all over cities, be it New York, Boston, Baltimore, or Bugtussle.
Your candor is appreciated, Mr. McComber, but...
Now, I know what you're thinking, old beans. Bosh, Flimshaw, a tower of such precarious heights could never support rail cars to carry these intrepid masses. Well, I'd never dream of anything that makes a stuffed bird laugh. That is why the travelers will triumphantly traverse on the tremendous toboggan sold by the tonnage, courtesy of none other than I, J.D. McComber. Why waste money on expensive railroads when, for much higher costs, you can build something supremely inconvenient and unsafe?
Don't ask questions, Dirtboy.
The feasibility, you ask? This is an impending masterpiece, and who else but an esteemed council such as yours would be permitted to triumph over such an endeavor? In fact, could those who self-brand as the greatest architects ever assembled be worthy of the title if they lack the pumpkins to serve my particular interests? The cost of an historic tower would be a matter of secondary importance. Therefore, I will not mention such expenses at present and will instead furnish specific figures upon formal application. Certainly, you architectural ambassadors understand that this eventual monument to man's profound ineptitude dwarfs any further counter-arguments. Yes? Good. I shall now bid my leave and await the delivery of contractual terms in the comfort of my home, which is a makeshift dwelling situated within the attic of any person in this room of my choosing at any given time. I have left delivery instructions under the pillows of everyone in attendance. Ta now.
You didn't screen these applicants, did you, Root?
You see what happens when you're permitted to ask questions, Dirtboy?
At risk of being classified as somewhat of a crank, I do appreciate that the Toboggan Man's plans would not choke our rivers and lakes with any unsightly steamboats. I like his idea the best.
Please
let there be any more ideas.
All in favor?
It appears we have one more applicant outside, as well as a telegram. Which matter should we address first, Mr. Burnham?
Well, there's no use making anyone wait if they have the courtesy to show up in person.
I say we do it anyway. On with the telegram.
Nay!
Enough! Bring the man in already. Sullivan, have your subordinate answer the door.
My pleasure, Burnham. Just let me warm up my lashing wrist.
We've no time for that.
Aww.
You may enter.
Good day, gentlemen. Please, be on with your ideas. We haven't got much time.
Time is of the essence.
Every second wasted counts.
Every counted second is a wasted one.
Very well, good sirs. I seem to be of the understanding that time is of the essence.
Tell me, Root, would a man who understands that time is of the essence waste valuable time telling people that the time he is wasting is of the essence?
I say not at all. Unlike the man whose time paradoxically is of the essence and laments other men's counterproductive acknowledgments of said essence of said time.
Indeed.
Indeed, if I may...
You may not!
Out with it! What on earth is taking so long?
My idea is a tower that towers 4 times taller than the Eiffel Tower, and the crown jewel will quite literally sit atop the crown until it doesn't.
This better be going somewhere, and it better be of relevant maritime matters.
And it better not have anything French to do with it.
I'm afraid there is no boat, sir. However, the piece de resistance, the distinguishing feature will be that of a car.
A car?
Yes, a seafaring car, which sounds suspiciously like a steamboat masquerading as an idea.
No, I assure you, it's far more practical. It's only a car big enough to hold 200 people, yet mobile enough to be shoved off the roof.
Ah, a mass suicide contraption, heavy as the weight of mine existence.
Hear that, Dirtboy? This would have been perfect for you ages ago.
Proper precautions would be put in place to prevent death.
Oh.
First and foremost, a material will be crafted to defy all of the laws of physics and ensure the car dangles harmlessly off the building. Not wood, that would break. Human children grabbing each other in one long chain won't work either.
Oh. I will say, pygmies are rather pliant for their short stature.
Sullivan!
Basic physics.
What do you suggest, then, Mr. Please call me RTE. I would suggest a rubber cable to the car to ensure proper dangling and as a means to be safely retrieved. And have you considered the strain that this rubber would be required to withstand? I see. We would need the best rubber in that case.
Ooh. Rubber is rubber.
I would also suggest an additional failsafe. Covered the fairgrounds in 8 feet of feathers. That is not how physics works.
Yes, it is.
Then we would need the best feathers.
Not at the expense of my exotic waterfowl.
Let it die, Olmsted.
I'll permit a 5-foot depth of best feathers. Maximum.
Deal.
Good heavens. Get this kook out of my sight. No, not you, or you. Him, Mr. RTE. Leave.
Thank you all. I'm grateful for the opportunity to present to you. I wonder what RTE even stands for.
Rubber tower enthusiast?
Rowing trounces engines.
I'm afraid no resolution will prevail in this matter. Without a worthy centerpiece, I fear it may be quite difficult to drum up the enthusiasm necessary to construct the fair at all.
Well, what do you expect, Burnham? You enlisted the likes of Olmsted and Hunt. This is what happens when you get Easterners and New York elites to run a Chicago event. None of them care. Say, these oysters are very good, though. Where are they from again?
New York.
Impossible.
There is still the matter of the telegram we received.
Yes, that is true. What have you, Root?
Heavens! It's from Gustav Eiffel himself.
What? Let me see that. To the esteemed board, my name is Gustav Eiffel. As you are aware, I designed my tower in commemoration of the French Revolution, and so on and so on.
So on, so on. Who does he think he is? A tireless seamstress? Come on, that was funny.
Eiffel has submitted a proposal.
Let's not be hasty in judgment.
French!
Regardless of what Eiffel has suggested, this doesn't change that we have promised nothing to him, or anyone. But given our dearth of options, we must grant this due consideration.
Nay, by St. Booger and all the saints at the backside door of purgatory, this is an outrage.
Derisiveness of a most jiggery-pokery fashion.
French!
What is the meaning of this intrusion?
Mr. Burnham, on behalf of America's willingest, whiningest, and whitest wengineers, I hereby declare this proposal a mockery. When, in all American history, have we ever accepted a towering structure from France as a gesture of goodwill?
Well...
Who even are you, piffling blatherskites?
Like we said, American engineers. And as Americans, we are insulted. You have, at your disposal, a workforce of skilled laborers, draftsmen, and architects at the ready to outdo France and tell those pigeon eaters to eat crow.
Yay! So, you mean to tell me that you're willing to work round the clock and year round, even in sub-zero winters and sweltering summers, in dangerous conditions, for the sole reason of boasting to the French?
Well, not us, per se. But we can absolutely exploit the American workers and use their blood to semi-figuratively lubricate every gear, pulley, and contraption necessary for construction.
Ha! That'll show those French who the real Americans are.
I admit, you make a compelling proposal. Do you have any ideas for a centerpiece?
Nope.
Burnham, then I insist that you, at the very least, tell us of Eiffel's proposal.
I looked. While you've all been chirping your bravado like a flock of tawdry gutter snipes, I read his letter.
And?
He proposed the same Eiffel Tower in Paris, only this one would be 500 feet taller.
See? Eiffel can't even think of anything new. We're way more creative than him.
Very well. I suppose what matters most is not that we have zero plans for the biggest event in the history of man to date, but that the French won't be able to tell us how to do it.
And we can achieve this by offering an influx of dangerous, low-paying, and temporary jobs to workers who will literally starve and freeze if they reject our offers.
Come again?
Apparently there's a depression on the horizon, and the Poors have it rather bad right now.
Ah, yes, the Poors. Well, gentlemen, then I believe we know what we must do. Not 20 years ago, Chicago was a burned heap of cinders and a haven for bovine arsonists. But atop this urban monument to man's stubbornness, whose streets are filled with carcasses of dogs and cats and horses, lies a true city of the world. Sure, an average of 2 people per day are killed by trains, but this is not to be lamented. Instead, I ask you, what other city in the world possesses laborers that have embraced their expendability to such a degree? If we are to achieve our capitalist dreams, we must leverage our corpse-laden streets and hellish quality of life to offer them honest, good work. But not so good that we have to concede our own luxuries, of course. Sullivan, put that damned oyster trough away.
Sorry.
Oyster trough? I thought his name was Dirtboy.
Very good, Burnham. But there's still the matter of our centerpiece. What shall we build?
Not we, Root, the American people. But to answer your question, I don't know.
Do you ever get the feeling that you're part of something bigger, Pitezel?
You mean like collectivism? Prioritizing people as a whole instead of individual interests? Or by something bigger, do you mean like a tick on an elephant's hide?
No, look around. What do you see?
The construction site for your future pharmacy?
Oh, not just a pharmacy, Pitezel. It's opportunity. My pharmacy won't even be the only vendor on the first floor. I'll have a jewelry merchant, a cafe, restaurant, and, most importantly, hotel rooms on the second level.
Ah, so it is more like a tick on an elephant's hide. Got it.
When the World Columbian Exposition finally opens its gates, fairgoers from all over the world will pay handsomely to stay there. It's one rich tick, any way you slice him.
Gross.
Yes, I will gross quite a bit of coin, that is, if they can actually complete the fair's construction in time. At this rate, I could build 2 more hotels with my own bare hands before they're ready to open this one. You're doing all right, Pitezel. You aren't still peeved because I rejected your name for my hotel and pharmacy, are you?
The Inn and Tonic would still be a great name.
Pardon me, Mr. Holmes? It was a terrible name, Pitezel.
The Inn and Tonic will live on.
Yeah, excuse me. I just want to understand something, Mr. Holmes. Yes, go on. What is it? You've hired me as a contractor, and my understanding is that you've hired me to help construct a building that you designed. Indeed. May I see the blueprints, then? Of course you may. I've already given them to you, in fact. Well, yes and no. You've only given me the prints for part of the second level. Isn't that what you've been hired to build? Yes, but... Then there's no need to trouble you with useless extra information, right? Define useless, because I feel like context is needed here. Context? That's one of those $100 words, eh, Pitezel?
$100 is a lot of money for our time, yes.
Forgive me if I am misremembering, but you are aware that I put out an advertisement for construction work, correct? Yes. And that advertisement stipulated that the job at hand was to last 10 days, correct? It did. Then, if the job is only to last 10 days, why trouble yourself with matters such as context? I've made this very simple for you. I instruct, you construct. No need to make anything more complicated. Thank you, yes, but I need to have a better understanding of this floor's purpose. I see there will be rooms for lodging, but I've noticed a few, oddities? Oddities. By all means, please inform me of said oddities, then. You will have a total of 35 rooms on the second level, but the blueprints also appear to include 51 doorways? No surprises there. I've taken notice of your superior door craftsmanship, Mr. Quick Pitezel. What was his name? Nevertheless, your doorway prowess is why you're here. You don't consider someone recognizing your craftsmanship to be an oddity, now do you? If so, it may lead one to think that your previous successes may have been flukes. But I must insist! Your plan would leave 16 doors that lead to nowhere! Oh. And your math is correct on that, yes? Yes, so why? Great, off you go then. Can't finish this project if we stand around chatting all day. Pitezel, do me a favor and escort our man back to his workstation, would you? And you're sure you wanted the locks to only be on the outside of the doors? The plan is the plan. Thank you. Smell that potential. Am I right?
I can only smell the meatpacking stockyards, sir.
Perhaps.
Good morning, Mr. Holmes. Sorry to vacate my post, but I had a few questions.
Why, certainly. What can I do for you?
I'd like to know, what do you make of this?
What is this? What have you given me? What am I holding?
It's just a sample of the asbestos you ordered. For insulation, I presume.
Ah, and a fine option at that. Insulation would be the intent of this asbestos, yes.
I'm concerned about our inventory, then.
We need more asbestos?
No, sir. Actually, I think we may have too much asbestos.
Well, that's never hurt anybody.
It hasn't hurt anybody, but maybe it's hurt your wallet. It's just, this invoice, did you intend to order so much?
I'll take that. And yes, the plan is the plan, so stick to the plan, construction man. And see to it that the entirety of the asbestos I ordered is used for insulation.
But sir, I must caution you. With that much asbestos, all of the insulation could retain too much moisture and cause mold. Why would anyone need this much
Like all great answers, I believe it lies within the question.
What in the bluest of hells?
Well, I'll be. You were much quieter with the insulation than without. This has proven to be an effective experiment. Wouldn't you agree, Pitezel?
I'm sorry, what was the question again, Mr. Holmes?
Is that a flask, Pitezel? Drinking on the job is very concerning behavior. I may have a tonic for your condition, however.
You just shoved asbestos down my throat!
I don't want asbestos.
What the hell did you do that for?
What? It's just a belch. It's a normal bodily function.
Not now, Pitezel. However, I'll indulge the question as to why you just inhaled asbestos. For, you see, I am your foreman. But I am also a doctor, and a man of science. And even an educated hypothesis is nothing without a controlled experiment.
What did you even learn from this?
I learned asbestos is a damn good noise suppressant.
You intend to have these rooms soundproofed with excess layers of asbestos.
Surely you aren't suggesting that my esteemed tenants shouldn't have utmost privacy, are you?
Of course not, sir.
Good. I'm glad we had this talk. And from now on, every invoice, every drawing, every document regarding construction comes straight to me and seen by no other eyes. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Be on your way. I think you're feeling good about this too, aren't you, Pitezel?
I try not to feel much of anything anymore.
You say something, Dirtboy?
No, that was Sullivan. His Dirtboy knows better than to speak out of turn.
Well, out with it already, Sullivan.
Oh, hell yeah.
Why is he talking with his mouth full?
That is a crackerjack indeed.
Foul.
Neat.
I beg your pardon, Sullivan.
I have been sampling products that will make their debuts at our exposition. This one, in my hand, is from the Wrigley Company.
And you call it a crackerjack?
No, this is chewing gum.
Chewing gum has been around for decades.
Yeah, but this one's Chicago style. And it's got all kinds of Chicago flavors, like, Vassar, sweet peppermint, lemon cream, blood orange. This one's called Sweet 16.
Very few of those words describe actual flavors.
Oh, Atwood, you're being too simple. It must be a gum of the synesthetic variety, where you can taste things that aren't flavors, see music, hear colors.
Olmsted, I thought I told you to wear a mask outside when Millet's team spray paints the buildings.
Make me.
Problem is, the gum keeps running out of flavor, so I have to keep adding pieces. Here, you guys try.
Gentlemen?
Hey!
No. Everybody, sit down and shut your mouths about whatever nonsense you are undoubtedly spewing.
Rolling?
Enough. Sullivan, do you mind telling me what day it is?
Oh, God, not this again. We already told you we don't know how many days are in October.
It's December, Sullivan. We have 5 months until opening day. And do you know what we don't have? Everything that we need.
And chewing gum? Because we got that.
Excellent. What a worthy rebuttal to the Eiffel Tower. It will be a remarkable centerpiece.
This gum is both sturdy yet pliant. Perhaps this material could be explored for construction in greater detail.
Everyone spit out your gum. Ugh.
Well, there is my idea, still.
Who the hell are you?
Where did you come from?
Was it by land or by sea? Because if...
Shut up, Olmsted! Gentlemen, you already know me.
No need to get cocky.
I'm not being cocky. We've literally spoken at 3 meetings before. Though, now that I mention it, they were all held very close in proximity to freshly painted buildings.
Doesn't ring a bell, and bells are delicious.
Yes, you said that last time, too. And then you all digressed and arranged to have the Liberty Bell brought to the fair. And then you arranged to have California construct another Liberty Bell out of oranges as a backup.
Ha! Yeah, we did.
Why would we want that?
I don't know.
Sounds like us, actually.
Very well. What is your idea?
You really don't remember. It's 5 months before the fair. There's been zero approval, let alone construction of our centerpiece. And you still aren't even aware of the only feasible option we have.
I resent that. We also aren't aware of your name either, young man.
Ugh. It's George Washington. Let me finish. It's George Washington Gale Ferris.
We're just gonna call you George. Maybe your initials, GWGF.
Guaguff!
And I've already given you the specs. It's 264 feet tall and structurally sound, despite its perceived flimsiness.
264 feet tall? That's only a quarter of the size of the Eiffel Tower.
This is not the group of people I'm going to have a conversation with about whether size matters.
Aww.
So, all I will say is that it will still tower over the fair, regardless of its comparison to Eiffel's Tower. Because this structure doesn't just go straight up. It goes around and around.
Like a big carousel!
That's actually not very far off, Olmsted. But you're thinking horizontally. Think of it vertically, like a wheel.
Oh, wheelie now. Still nothing?
It will also be 250 feet in diameter, reinforced by an axle weighing 45 tons, resting atop twin pillars of 140 feet high. This isn't just a wheel, gentlemen, but a gold factory.
I'm sorry, but how exactly can you generate gold? By spinning a wheel?
Oh my God, he's Rumpelstiltskin. I knew it.
Not close this time, Mr. Olmsted.
Yes, I am.
You're all not getting it still? People will ride in it, in luxury. The wheel will hold 36 cars, each capable of safely holding 60 people.
Or 72,000 oysters.
Sure. And if it's clams you want...
Oysters?
Then imagine each gondola filled with 60 people who each paid 50 cents a head. Where's the roof on this thing? Well, not in the lunch cart, which every car will have, fully stocked. And in the rare event people won't want to eat while being rotated hundreds of feet in the air, then at minimum, the fare gets $1,000. More specifically, every hour it generates $3,000.
Oysters!
Enough. $3,000 an hour. That is tempting, Ferris. I just don't know if I can vouch for its safety.
You don't have to. I've actually deeply considered this issue,
And I believe you. But no matter how many calculations you've done, we still need to sell this to the public. No one will want to get on it if it looks too flimsy.
Now, hold on, Burnham. I believe I disagree here.
Yes? You want to be the one to unveil this to the press, Mr. Hunt? After our fair's construction alone has already killed 30 workers?
Well, first of all, small price to pay for making history. And secondly, yes, Burnham, that would not be a good look. But you're thinking short term. Think of all of the fairgoers who will attend. They'll have come from all over, foolishly paying Pullman's price-gouging railroad rates just to get through the gates.
Morons.
Spit that out.
Make him!
As I was saying, when they walk through the gates, they have to spend more to make it worth their while. What other choice do they have?
Only what we permit them to have.
Right! When the customers enter the gates and see Ferris's creation, it's not just an engineering marvel. but a patriotic rebuttal to France's towering monstrosity. And for a mere 50 cents, you can be part of that. Who wouldn't say yes?
30 dead workers?
They technically wouldn't turn it down either, though.
Mr. Hunt's right. You lure a few of them in with the jingoism and overbearing American pride, and then they all brag to their neighbors. It's not that the wheel riders had an experience, it's that everyone else will feel like they haven't had one until they ride that wheel.
And when word spreads, it will catch like wildfire.
Let's lay off the fire expressions, Hunt. We may be building a new city, but this is still Chicago after all.
That's all very well and good, gentlemen, but these facts remain. As Atwood pointed out, 30 workers have died working on the fair, and now you want to build a structure that has an axle which weighs 45 tons and will be suspended from over 100 feet in the air, and then sell that to the public?
The fair's failures will pale in comparison to its achievements. Besides, if we can spin any impending wheel deaths as sacrifices for the good of the World's Fair, the people won't even care. They have the memories of goldfish anyways.
A what?
He said people have the memories of... Wait, what?
Very well. I still have my reservations, but with 5 months until opening day, we just need a decision at this point. All in favor?
Aye!
Really? Everyone agrees? Olmsted?
What was the question?
Good enough for me. What will you call this wheel, Mr. Ferris?
The Ferris wheel?
I don't get it, Ferris. Why call it the Ferris wheel?
Because no one wants to ride the iron wheel. You guys are dicks.
Thank you for listening to episode 2 of No Holmes Barred. This is an independent passion project, so please, remember to subscribe and leave us a positive review if you're so inclined. For bonus content and information on No Holmes Barred events, please visit noholmesbarred.com and sign up for our newsletter, your Murder Castle mailbag. Be vigilant for episode 3's premiere, in which the hapless World Fair architects attempt to involve women in the fair's planning. No Holmes Barred was written and directed by Daniel Ciarrocchi. It was recorded, mixed, and mastered by Evan Kornblum. Additional tracking and production courtesy of Still Thinking Productions and the Coniferous Lounge. No Holmes Barred stars Daniel Ciarrocchi as H.H. Holmes, Root, RTE, Ferris, Workers 1 and 2, and Dirtboy. Sam Sessa as Burnham. Dave Heilker as Olmsted. Alex Bond as J.D. McComber. Willy Landon as Sullivan. Jacob DeNobel as Pitezel and Atwood. Steve Bortz as Hunt. Evan Kornblum as Engineer 2. Jenny Kessler as Engineer 3, and Tom Colgrove is your narrator.